we had a turbine user call us this week, looking actually if we did flushing services. And I said, sure, we do flushing service. In fact, we've done hundreds over the years. What is the nature of the requirement? And they said, in our spring outage, we're taking down our 200 megawatt gas turbine, and for our spring outage, we want to clean out the system, inspect it, and refill it. And then the expectation is that we'll be able to run that lubricant for another 4 years until our next major maintenance window. And I said, well, have you assessed what the remaining oil life is and how much additive is there? And they said, no. And so why would you do that? I said, well, the ASTM standard, the governing standard for D4378, dictates the in-service guide for gas turbine lubricants. And it states that when a lubricant has lost 75% of its additive, and in conjunction with an increase in acid number of 2 to 3 times, that you would schedule that oil for replacement. So I said, what's your acid number? And the customer didn't know. And I said, what are your additives? And they said that we don't know. I said, well, let's get that data and let's crunch numbers and let's see where you're at. So in this case, we had we tested 3 different turbines at the site, and we found that one of them was actually below that threshold already. So the interesting thing is that the user didn't know this, and they were already planning their maintenance strategy over the next 4 years, and failing to recognize that in less than 3 months, they need to do an oil change. So in this case, they're using an oil that comes from overseas. There's a lot of time, energy, and supply chain requirements to make sure that that oil is on site on time for that change, right? So the fact that that wasn't readily known to a user of a large gas turbine like this, I found interesting and demonstrates the need that it's much more than lab analysis. I think what's happening right now is that lab analysis is being done blindly without any professional interpretation of those results. And in the case of a power company, they might not have the in-house expertise, and in most cases they will not, to recognize those key moments on how am I doing. Ideally, what you want is for the users of that gas turbine to understand implicitly that, I'm losing 10% of my additive per year. I'm on track for a 10-year oil life, right? Or I'm depleting my additives at a rate of 30% per year, so I'm on track for a 3-year life. Just the recognition of this and the adjustment of the maintenance strategy to deal with that scenario, so you can actually align your maintenance windows with your oil changeout intervals, right? And then in that case, you're also able to maximize your production.